from Himachal Pradesh. Eventually, the demon Hidimba grew impatient. His sister had not come back. After the great fire of the lacquer house, the 5 Pandav brothers were believed dead by the kingdom of Hastinapur. They had escaped through a tunnel and fled across the rivers, dressed as Brahmins, the kingdom's heirs hiding for their lives. They walked for many days. They reached the foothills of the great Himalayas, in what is now the Kullu Valley of Himachal Pradesh. They were exhausted. They had not slept properly in weeks. Their mother Kunti was old and weak. They found a cave by a clearing in a deep pine forest. They lay down. The brothers all slept. Only Bhima, the second brother, the strongest of them, the one with the appetite of 100 men, stayed awake to keep watch. But the forest they had entered was not empty. It was the territory of a fearsome Rakshas named Hidimba. He was a flesh-eating demon who ruled this part of the wilderness with his sister Hidimba, a Rakshasi who was tall and powerful and lived with him in his cave. Hidimba's nostrils, the ancient text says, picked up the scent of fresh human flesh on the night air. He turned to his sister. He told her, "There are humans nearby. Go and find them, kill them, and bring them back to me. We will feast." The sister obeyed. She walked through the forest. She came to the clearing. She saw the 4 sleeping Pandavas. She saw their old mother. And she saw Bhima, standing guard with his make, lit by the moon. And in that instant, Hidimba, the Rakshasi, fell in love with Bhima. She had the power, like many Rakshasis, to change her form. She became, instantly, the most beautiful woman Bhima had ever seen. She approached him calmly. She told him the whole truth. She said, "I am a Rakshasi. My brother sent me to kill you and your family. But the moment I saw you, I no longer want to obey him. I want to marry you. Come with me. I will protect you." Bhima looked at her. He listened to her. He was weary. He said, "My mother and brothers are exhausted. I cannot abandon them." The sister of Hidimba said, "I will protect them too. I will take you all somewhere safe. Just hold my hand." Bhima refused to go anywhere without his family. The 2 of them stood there in the moonlight, arguing, while the sleeping brothers slept on. Eventually, the demon Hidimba grew impatient. His sister had not come back. He walked out of his cave himself, found the clearing, and saw what was happening. His sister, beautiful and human-faced, standing with the human she should have killed. He roared. He charged at Bhima. The fight that followed was enormous. The Rakshasi fled the clearing in human form. The 2 males, Bhima and the Rakshasa, fought through the trees, through the rocks, into the stream bed, back into the clearing again. They uprooted trees. They tore boulders out of the hill. Bhima eventually wrestled the Rakshas to the ground and killed him with his bare hands. Hidimba lay dead. The rest of the Pandavas, who had woken by now, watched in silence. The Rakshasi watched from the trees, in human form, both relieved and frightened. Hidimba came forward. She fell at Kunti's feet. She said, "I have loved your son. He killed my brother to protect you. I cannot ask any of you for forgiveness. But I ask, only, that I may follow your son and be his wife." The other Pandav brothers did not approve. Yudhishthir shook his head. But Kunti, who had lived a long life and had been a queen and was now an exile, said something unexpected. She said, "My daughter, you have lost your brother today. So have I, in a sense, given up my home. The world is cruel. If you love my son, I will not refuse you." But the brothers must continue their journey. Bhima will stay with you for 1 year. After that, he must return to his family. The Rakshasi agreed. Bhima agreed. The other Pandavas walked on into the next valley. Bhima and Hidimba stayed in the Kullu forest. The two of them lived together that year. He built a small wooden house with her in the high pine forest above Manali. She showed him how to find honey from the bees of the cliffs. She showed him the secret hot springs. They had a son. They named him Ghatotkacha, meaning the bald-headed one, because he had been born with no hair on his head. He grew up at a Rakshasa speed. Within months, he was the size of a strong man. Within a year, he had learned all of his father's strength and all of his mother's magical powers. He could fly. He could change his size. He could disappear at will. When the year ended, Bhima rose to rejoin his brothers. Ghatotkacha said, "Father, when you need me, call my name. I will come. From wherever I am." And Bhima walked out of the Kullu forest, alone, leaving Hidimba and his son behind. Many years later, when the great war of the Mahabharata broke out at Kurukshetra, Bhima did call his son's name. Ghatotkacha came down from the Himalayas instantly. He fought for the Pandavas. He was one of their greatest warriors. He flew over the battlefield. He killed many Kaurava heroes. On the night when the war was almost balanced on a knife edge, the Kaurava commander Karna was forced to use a divine weapon he had been saving for Arjuna, the Vasava Shakti, the spear given to him by Indra, which could only be used once. Karna threw it at Ghatotkacha. Ghatotkacha, in his last act, grew himself to giant size in the air, so that when the spear killed him, his enormous falling body would crush as many Kaurava soldiers as possible underneath it. He died this way, for his father's cause, in a war he had only joined out of family loyalty. Hidimba never remarried. She remained, the Himachali oral tradition says, in the Kullu valley for the rest of her long life. She was a Rakshasi, and Rakshasis live many human lifetimes. She gradually became a guardian deity of the valley itself. She would, the villagers said, walk through the forests at night, watching over travelers. She would protect women in labor. She would chase away wolves from sheep flocks. The local people stopped fearing her. They started honoring her. Around the year 1653, a Kullu king named Bahadur Singh built a wooden temple at the place where Hidimba was said to have lived. The temple still stands today in the woods just above Manali. It is unusual. It is made of dark wood, with a 40-yard pagoda roof unlike any other Hindu temple in India. Brides in the Kullu valley still come there before their wedding to ask for blessings. They are asking, the local elders say, the same Rakshasi who once gave up her brother for love, to be present at their wedding, and to bless them. To bless them with a love that survives the impossible. Tomorrow's story comes from another corner of India. Subscribe to walk with us through the folklore of every region, in your language.